few more people there than I expected. I was already...
What you gonna jam on?
We're doing Tie Your Mother Down, Brian, and 2 Dead Flatbird songs. So,
Which just flew in on.
I think it's a wonderful name. Originally it was spelled D-E-A-F-L-E-O-P-A-R-D, and we ended up getting a lot of punk type, you know, bands to the shows. So we ended up changing the spelling, and I think it was a bit of a mistake that it looked a bit like Led Zeppelin, but we ended up attracting a more rock audience. I think it's an unusual name. I think it sticks in people's minds.
Élève de la célèbre New Wave of British Heavy Metal, au même titre que Saxon et Iron Maiden, Def Leppard rejoint en 80 l'écurie de management de Scorpion et AC/DC. On les retrouve rapidement aux États-Unis, où ils assurent les premières parties respectives de Judas Priest, Ted Nugent et AC/DC. Ce séjour prolongé aux States leur vaudra d'ailleurs d'être couverts de tomates et de noms d'oiseaux sur la scène du festival de Reading. Le public anglais, particulièrement chauvin, leur reprochant de s'être convertis au vieux dollar.
I think our musical influences always been really English. But then again, a lot of English bands have always copied the Americans. So I think it's difficult to put a label on us as an American band. I just think the fact that you've got really big vocals and it's a really big sound, and we're a big band. I suppose it's slightly unusual because there haven't been many bands come out of England that have gotten as big as we have since The Who, The Stones, the Stones, Led Zeppelin, whatever.
I'm a big fan of American music mainly, and I have a great time living out there. I find it very inspiring as a musician, and just the fact that you've got so much choice, like radio stations and stuff. You know, if you want to listen to jazz, you just put the jazz on, or country, or rap, or rock, or hard rock, and you've got a lot of choice and a lot of inspiration to draw from. So it's, I really like, I feel more in touch with that kind of lifestyle really than England. You know, I don't really miss England so much. Le faire tant qu'il est chaud, et dès l'année suivante, en 81, Def Leppard sort son second album, High and Dry, produit par celui qui allait devenir le 6e Léopard, le producteur Matt Lange.
High and Dry was a really interesting album to make for all of us because it was the first time we worked with Matt Lang, and then we all realized what real work was all about, and I think that was a really good lesson in how a record should sound. Bringing on the Heartbreak was actually a really exciting song for us because it was one of the first ballads that the first ballad we'd really released, and it actually was responsible for breaking us in America. And I think it was a really good song, a really strong song. showed a lot of maturity at that time.
I mean, we love playing live. That's the reason we all got into a band in the first place, was to play live, because studio work can be very boring. You know, you just sit there day after day, and we just, yeah, we're always dying to get out on tour. I think that's why we tour for such a long time. I mean, if we could, we'd tour longer and more often, but because it's the best part. But unfortunately, you have to make records too.
Tourné avec Ozzy, Rainbow et Blackfoot, Def Leppard, décidément très productif en ces jeunes années, rentre en studio pour préparer son album suivant, Pyromania. C'est pendant l'enregistrement que le guitariste originel Pete Willis sera remplacé par Phil Collen.
Pyromania was a really fun album to make. We also did that album with Matt Lang, and it was when Phil Collen joined our band and totally took our sound to a different level. His guitar playing was really good, and we really enjoyed it because it was really exciting. And the song Rock of Ages was probably the first really anthem type song that we'd ever written, and it actually went down really well live because it was something that the audience could really get into.
The reason we try and get it as perfect as we can, I think the biggest success we had earlier on was off of Pyromania, and everyone said that was overproduced, but we actually liked the way it sounded. You know, we're very big fans of our own music and the sound of it, and it's just a progression. We've always, with Def Leppard material, we want it to sound that way. So I like overproduced stuff. You know, I actually like the sound of, I used to love Queen, and everyone said, oh, they're overproduced and stuff like that, but to me as a fan, it sounded great. You know, it sounded larger than life. You know, it's just like, I always compare it to movies. You know, stuff like Star Wars, The Raiders of the Lost Ark. They're overdone as well. They're overproduced or over-directed or whatever, but they're probably the best and most exciting films ever made. You know, definitely box office-wise, and we just try and do that musically as well. And it's so that people hopefully would be big fans of that too.
All right. I got something to say. Yeah. It's better to burn out. Yeah. Than fade away.
l'intervalle de près d'un an qui suit la sortie de Pyromania permet à Def Leppard de devenir le plus gros vendeur du rock. En effet, le groupe en vend 100 000 exemplaires par semaine aux États-Unis, et ce pendant toute l'année 1983.
If the bands that are out now are not that way, like Nirvana and things, they're either very generic and they all sound exactly the same. You know, I think it's better to be like original, like Metallica or whatever. But again, on the other hand, you've got this stuff that's sounding all the same. And when we come out, usually it's a different sound all of a sudden. You know, and it kind of, hopefully we can improve on the music scene again, as we kind of did last time. And it'd be nice to think that we could change a few things. So that's kind of what motivates us as well.
I think we've got a lot to say to our audience. I think our music is about escapism and having a really good time. And there are always a few serious songs on each of the records, maybe that have a bit more serious message. But most of the time, our lyrics are more about escapism and having a good time, and I think that's what most people want to listen to.
As far as the fans are concerned, you know, they're the people that buy the records, and they're just the most important people of the whole process. You know, you've got to please them, and you know, they buy your records, and the least you can do is sign autographs and be kind of, you know, and it's good talking to them as well. It's good to find out what they like and what they don't like, and just use them as a guide, you know, so you can see where you're going wrong or if you're doing something right. You know, it's a nice thing to have a relationship. Situation of not releasing much material is, I think our fans would be very disappointed if we just put stuff out that wasn't up to the standard of the stuff we'd had before. So we always try to make it, you know, the best we can. You know, just like very strong material, strong song, great sound. And I think if we stopped doing that, I think the fans would really be disappointed.
We never really waste any material because you may get a situation where a section that was written maybe 4 years ago that was left over from a record may end up getting used on a more recent record. And if the ideas are really bad, then they shouldn't really be used in the first place. So we never feel as though we waste any material or waste any time. It's really whatever songs are the strongest. They're the only songs that should really get on the record.
Def Leppard part jouer pendant 14 mois aux 4 coins du monde pour soutenir Hysteria, avec notamment MSG en première partie. Le groupe rentre en studio en 1989 pour préparer son 5e album, mais en janvier 91, la tragédie s'abat de nouveau sur le groupe avec le décès accidentel du guitariste Steve Clark, victime d'un mélange abusif de drogue et d'alcool.
With Steve Clark, it was very important that we were like a family. You know, we grew up together, We had all this success together and tragedies and everything together. So it's very important we get someone in who's going to be with us for that, for the same kind of reason, you know.
I think on a friendship level, we've probably gotten a lot closer because of my accident and what happened to Steve. I think what's tended to happen over the years, we realized that we're really strong as a unit, and it's also difficult to, or for an outsider to understand exactly what we've been through. So we tend to unload what we think, what we feel on each other, and I think that makes a really strong unit, and it makes a really strong group.
With me and Steve Clark, a two-guitar band, you know, a twin guitar thing or whatever, we always used to bounce off of each other and use each other for inspiration. It'd be nice if we could get someone that I could do that with and the band could do that with as well. Also, I think for live, we're going to need someone who can sing very well. And when we play in the round, you need at least 5 people, otherwise it's going to look a little unbalanced. And I think because we've always been a 5-piece band, I think that's why we're going to carry on.
Le groupe poursuit toutefois l'enregistrement sous la forme d'un quatuor préparant l'album Adrenalize qui doit sortir ces jours-ci. Mais peut-il réellement faire mieux qu'Hysteria qui n'est ni double ni triple mais décuple platine aux États-Unis?
I think with Hysteria, it ended up being the biggest hard rock album of all time. And that's really hard to top. Obviously we're going to try, that's why we spent so much time. But again, it's not the main motivation, you know, it's not, oh, we want to top it in sales or we want to make more money and that. It's we want to make better, fresher music, you know, and actually make an impression on the music scene, you know. I think it's when we released Hysteria, it was getting very stagnant with the rock thing. And also a little bit now, you know, it's a lot of the bands are sounding a little the same. They're either very dark, you know, like the lyrics and that with Nirvana and Metallica and stuff like that, which is fine, you know. But we're very up, and our music's a lot different to that.
We wanna get right. To do nothing. In fact, that's what I did. I got a million ways to make my day, but Daddy don't agree. 'Cause when I tried to get away, he says he got plans for me. It's your birthright holiday. Stop bugging me. When I think you got me, don't shake my tree. It says, hold on. Who, me? Walk the down. Not my style, man. No way. Come on, get real. I'm sorry, Dad, gotta disappear. Let's get the rock out of here. Sunday weekend, up all night. In at the deep end, hang on tight. Won't take a minute, won't take long. So get on in it. Come on, come on. Let's get right. Let's get right. Let's go all the way. Did it night and day. Come on, let's get right. I'm your average, ordinary, everyday dude. Driving with my baby to get her in the mood. She's dialing through my radio and I'm ready to make my move. What she got in rock and roll and it really blew my groove. It was Chopin, Mozart, Beethoven. It makes me wanna scream. Mozart, Rossi, violin. Get it off. That ain't my scene. Well, I'm sorry, girl, here's my confession. Suppose the rock's out of the question. Sunday weekend, up all night. In that